Hey, we've got Marissa here, the CMO from Buildxact. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we're talking a lot today about toys versus tools,
That's fair, yeah.
and essentially what is the difference between, again, we're at IBS and there's a lot of what could either be both. People out there looking for the next golden silver bullet, whatever it is that's going to
Yeah.
save their world. And we're kind of delving a little bit into what the fallacy or fantasy is there and
Yeah.
what people actually need to do to be making operational change
Okay.
when they are implementing and how to take that seriously. And I know in your role as CMO, you're needing to know what the pain points are to be able to put that out. And so you're really close to that. So I guess I'd really love to start. How long have you been with Buildxact now?
Yeah, just over 4 years.
4
So I
years?
started in late 2021. Much
you-
different world than
Yeah.
where we are now. It
Just a
does
little
not
bit.
feel like 4 years ago. Middle of pandemic.
That's right. I think it's like dog years now. It's like
It is.
every year is like
Yeah.
7 years
Yeah.
worth of
But
change.
strangely enough, also 2021 felt like yesterday. So it's this kind of time warp thing that we're
We
in.
need
now.
to say just the other day. Okay. Whenever it is. So I guess the first thing is, I just want to talk about what the biggest gaps you see between someone who brings on a tool like Buildxact to help
Yeah.
manage their jobs and just adapts it to someone who actually creates proper organizational change with it.
Yeah.
Where do you see the biggest gaps?
Investment.
Yeah.
And when I say investment, I mean the time that you're willing to invest, not so much the cost, because depending on the construction management software tool, costs are pretty comparable depending on your size. So where you see the biggest value, because there's a number of different pain points that we see from our builders right now around, resistance to technology. The Associated Professional Builders just released their latest Sourcing report, and it's the most dramatic shifts that I've seen in people just starting to learn about what construction management software is. So something as high level as, hey, there's tools out there for me, to, hey, I have a more granular pain point around all of my estimating process is in my head because I'm one of two people in my phone. So where you see the tools really start to become more useful is in that investment. A lot of builders are builders. They're not business owners. They're not marketers.
Or at least they don't think of themselves.
Yeah, correct.
They're
Yeah.
still in that operator mindset.
100%. Yeah.
And I think that's, it's not that they aren't. In fact, they are. Some of these builders have got 20, 30, 40 teams out there.
Yeah.
But up here,
Yeah.
they're still holding the hammer and the nail.
Yeah. They're still holding the hammer and the nails. At the same time, the reality is they're wearing many hats. They're having to become the estimator, the back end office administrator, the accountant, like I said, the marketer, the sales guy. It's overwhelming to think about how many hats our customer at the end of the day has to wear. And so when I say invest, I don't mean costs. I mean, it's really about, before you get to that pain point, understanding that there are tools out there that can make all of that weight that's on their shoulders to wear these different hats and lift it. And it's incredible, just the difference you see in the heavy adopters that really go in and say, hey, like, I want to learn this system. Going from, this is going to be something that's complex for me and for my team to adopt. My team, we always hear these objections of, my team is resistant to change. We've done this thing. We've done it this way for so long. I'll use an example. Just on the floor today, we were demonstrating one of the capabilities of our new AI building assistant, Blue, and it's our estimate generator, and a really, really custom build that one of our builders in the audience was just laying out, and we were prompting in. And it built this very custom 4,000 square foot home in under 2 minutes. And I just looked at one of the other builders within $20,000 of what would have taken that builder. He said, I think 4 days to build that estimate, done in 2 minutes within, like I said, 97% accuracy on the first run. Yeah, you still got to go in and you got to adjust your labor and all that kind of stuff. And you look at another builder and he just goes, wow, that's that aha moment of,
So what is that essentially the letting go, or just the accepting that maybe there might be a better way?
educating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Educating yourself. It doesn't have to be use software has, and just within the past, 2 years, evolved so drastically that it doesn't have to be this terrifying thing that you adopt. It's something that at the end of the day should provide efficiencies in how you do business and how you understand your business and how you understand your client and how you're communicating with your own team. Just taking, like I said, all of that weight and all those hats that you wear out of your head and into something that can basically just create this wonderful learning environment of cohesion across a vast amount of stakeholders that these builders have to deal with.
So let's say we've got a builder. They've opened their mind. So that's their first step. Let's say we want to say, okay, I'm waving my magic wand, and you get your perfect client that's never going to leave you.
Yeah.
And you get to choose 3 things that they've done before they come to you, and 3 things that they set as a standard for themselves to do once they've implemented the software.
Yeah.
Did you know if they do those few things beforehand
Yeah.
and they do those few things consistently, that they're never going to leave you, that they're your perfect client?
Yeah.
They do 3 things. What would those 3 things be on either side? 3 things before, 3 things every week, every day, forever.
Yeah. Before they come to us, they have to be very aware that there is at least one very specific pain point in how they're doing operations.
Got it. So know what the problem is.
Yeah,
Trying to solve the
100%.
bottleneck,
I mean,
get clear on the problem.
yeah, they say 90% of the solution is knowing what the problem is to start
Yep.
off with. So that's number one. Number two is unfortunately, at the point of time that most of them are coming to us, we have to change or read it. We have to change something that we're doing, or we're not going to make it. We're going to become another statistic of
So
building.
they have to not only know the problem,
Yeah.
they got to know that if we keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're going to get the same results.
Yeah.
So we have to change something, and we've got to be open to it.
Yeah, correct.
So they got to come to you ready to change.
Yeah.
Okay, so know the problem, be clear on that. Know that they're going to be asked to change something about their system or process.
And number 3 is not afraid to learn and embrace new ways of doing things.
And by learn, do you also mean potentially fail a couple of times?
100%. I don't think you learn if you don't fail more times.
That's right. People love to hear learning. Go, oh yeah, I learned like reading a book. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't learn by reading books.
Yeah.
You learn by making. What do they say? You win or you learn. It's one of the two. So good. I'm glad. So they got to be ready. They got to be ready to fall over and get up.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, just like I said, embrace the fact that, look, you come to a point where if you don't change something, whether either it's going to be your business or something in your life is not going to survive, whether that be your marriage, your health, et cetera. Like we have one of our builders that we love. He's actually an ambassador for us. Josh has been with us for a few years now. Huge success story for us. Within his first year, grew his revenue by 400%. When he came to us, having heart palpitation, his doctor's burning 80-hour weeks on average. Him and his partner were in his business, and his wife was like, you can't keep doing it. It's like,
it sounds like it's the other side. The first requirement. They got to know what the problem is, but they also need a good reason why.
Yeah.
Like, what do they say? If the why is strong enough, the how is easy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're saying is, again, and it comes back, same with us. If we're going to be claiming back someone's time, I first want to know what they want to do with it. But why? If it is like you got a family, great. But do you love them and want to spend time with them, or are you just hiding? You got to have something. Heart palpitations. Figure out what your why is.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because it's very rarely the latter. At the end of the day, these are most of the time very family oriented people.
Exactly.
I am the daughter of a small construction business owner who very much had this problem. Work nights and weekends, doing his estimates by hand, not having a lot of time with his family. You hit a burnout point. At the end of the day, we're human beings. So like I said, a lot of that kind of, to that second point, they've hit that if I don't change, I can't sustain. So there's just no way if I don't do something different that I can continue to do the things the way that.
Perfect. So we've got someone coming to you, they got clarity over the problem, clarity over the purpose of why, and they've got a willingness to learn, as you said,
Yeah.
a willingness to fall over, make some changes, and know who's going to be in. So now you got that person's come in, they've done it now, they've implemented, they've got their why. What's three things you say, make sure that you get this done, hold this standard now in the way that you operate the software, that if you do this daily, weekly, monthly, you're going to get the utilization, get the results that you've set in the beginning. Because we always see there's that implementation period where again, it's new.
Yeah.
Someone falls over and doesn't get back up.
Yeah.
And doesn't do it consistently. And then the data falls away. And when the data's wrong, what's the time?
Yeah.
So what are those three things that if you could wave a magic wand and your client always did that, would be make it excellent?
Yeah. So in the initial period in which they're coming on, it's committing time to what changes does this bring? What efficiencies does this bring in our operations? So that could be a different entry point depending on where that builder is in their business. But for the most part, what a lot of our clients kind of higher need is, if we're getting more into the actual product use case, is their pre-construction. Most of them don't even know what kind of profit margin they're making off of their projects. If they're anything like my dad was, and the business is like this kind of, it's very correlated to what was happening in the economy at the time. Is the mindset of, oh, well, I have a lot of work coming in, so we're doing well. Or, oh, no, I don't have a lot of work coming in, we're not doing. That was how he based his business off of versus, oh, I'm making 20% profit margin off of this. I've grown my company revenue by X. That's where you're actually really understanding growth in your business.
And you mentioned as well, it's not, you don't find that out at the year end, coming in after the battle and counting the wounded.
Correct. Yeah.
You find it out at pre-construction and in the quoting when you're actually setting the budgets and getting cleared. So what I'm hearing is, if there's one thing to make sure is that it's the job setup at the beginning, and make sure you've got budgets, clarity, and everything on the job before it starts. Scope of works. That's 100%. where it sits. You get that? 1 minute done now is worth 10 minutes done.
Yeah, because if you're thinking about it long term, the closer that number is that you originally quoted your customer at to where that project ends up, that's what grows your business's reputation, is a happy customer. That's how you get referrals. It's how word of mouth gets out. I've yet to meet a customer that's like, no, I'm 100% fine with building, a bare minimum product. That's not a good end. Most of our builders are, I want to build forever homes. I want to build something that, my customer can make memories in, and it's, good quality. And unfortunately, at the end of the day, they're dealing with a customer who's having to deal with structural materials, et cetera. There's a lot of natural things in the way that business has been done in managing projects with builders and their end clients that it's really not on the builder. There's material cost fluctuations that they're the ones that are the face-to-face communicators with the end clients. And if that project ends up being, several zeros over what they originally quoted, that's going to cause a lot of friction between the client. The closer you can get from that original cost, there's still going to be things that go on. You're still going to have material prices that change. There's still going to be change orders.
But it's hard to do change orders when you don't know what the original scope was.
Or when you're having to chase down a paper trail of, what was the original price that I quoted this at? What is the difference in, where the cost is now? It is substantial.
So we've got, make sure that the scope of works is clear. There's clarity around the scope, clarity around the budget.
Yeah.
Clarity on what's included, what's not included. Is always a fun one.
Yeah.
So we've done that. So now moving past that point, what's the second and third? What's the second thing that if they were utilizing it properly, would make the huge difference to both the happiness of the client, the end result, profitability, and the utilization? What would it be?
Uh, any tool around communication of your key stakeholders.
So tell me about that. What would that, again, waving magic wand,
Yeah.
how does that look like? What is that daily or weekly habit or standard that you would have them hold that would answer that for you?
Yeah. So we just talked about client relations. It's one part of who builder has to deal with on an average project. Most of where they find a lot of communication issues is going to be with their subcontractors, with their vendors, with their own employees that are on the job. It's a lot of moving parts going on at one time, very agile systems. And if that's not communicated well, which it's very well understood now that the way that building business has been done is not been. Communication has not been one of the strongest areas. So I would say success is, so if you're talking about actual product application, this is in your dependencies within your actual job schedule. So a lot of delays can happen during a build, from weather delays to contractor delays to material order delays, et cetera. Being able to have systems that can communicate for you and every other stakeholder that's tied to that one delay, to where you're not wasting their time or their resources or your own.
And is that something that they should be setting up to make sure happens and was automated within Buildxact, for example?
Yeah, it's so essentially after you've placed your estimate and you won the job, and you can push your estimate costings that's tied to every single. So this is bringing your material costs. So that's your supplier relationships that you're having to deal with. So that's your communication with your suppliers, to your actual labor costs. So that's all of your vendors and whatnot. You create dependencies within there. And you can choose basically whether or not, hey, I need to push this one particular task out 2 days. You're going to set dependencies between those. So it'll notify everyone who is dependent on that one piece getting done. Up to the builder if they want to get that transparency. But yes, you can push it to the client as well, 100%. So it's just
would that be, in your opinion, is that extra step of client transparency something that is, again, magic wand, right?
Yeah.
Talking about giving you perfect. Is that, if they're running it right, is that client transparency something that you would say is part of that ecosystem, having that, or is that
100%.
not?
And where we have our most successful builder stories is a more transparent builder with their client into cost fluctuations. Because at the end of the day, at least what we understand from these builders who've actually seen great marginal uptick that come on with us, is in the feedback that they're giving us on their customers, they're more understanding of any major cost fluctuations if they understand the why behind what's done. And this is about streamlining that communication. So taking it from, I have to call, 3 different subcontractors, 2 of my suppliers because this material is late. And then I need to take all of that information and have a conversation with my customer. And I need to get all that done in a couple of hours, all via phone, to one move of a mouse, and it'll automate us in the communications.
So we're talking, first thing, clarity.
Yeah.
Second thing, transparency.
Yeah.
Communication. What will be a third? You got 3 wishes, like any good fairy godmother.
Yeah. What, at the end of the day, grows a business is your profit margins. So how do you know how much you actually profited? You've got to track those costs.
So know your numbers.
Yeah, have to know your numbers.
So you can make sure that you tracking, getting those invoices into those budgets, and know where you're up to, up or down.
Yeah.
That not again, not at the end of the month or at the end of the project.
Yeah, not the, I have more projects, so I'm more successful mindset.
Yeah, or look, there's some money in the bank account. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I love the bank account accountant.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm fine.
Now we can invest more of our operating expenses in growing our business and marketing. We can bring on that estimator. We can do this and start just making more holistic business decisions. Because like we said, a lot of these builders, when they're coming in, don't have the business owner experience of all the different facets and components.
That's it. And as we were saying before, with that dog analogy, right now things are changing so fast. Making sure that you are keeping up with that owner mentality, and you have the time and to be able to focus on what's all the change that's happening and not get stuck in the weeds, is so important. More important now than it ever has been.
The world,
to not be.
world is moving faster than it
That's right.
has. So
And because again, being in your space where you're obviously always looking at the competition and pain points where things are moving.
yeah,
Given that, AI, and everything else that's coming into our world right now that's accelerating this progress, where do you see the biggest operational impact and change over the next 3 to 5 years to build the industry?
yeah. So for us, where we wanted to build our agents was very aligned to where we saw the kind of biggest sticky points in estimating and pre-construction. So that was our first iteration. So having an agent that is leveraging data from several years of similar builds to help you streamline and get major time and cost efficiencies out of your pre-construction processes, from takeoff surveying to estimate building to auditing to quote building, just getting that quote out the door and winning work. And the next evolution of that, I think, is, and you do see other people using agents in the project management space, more on the scheduling and communication side, like we just talked about. So I think it's going to continue in that direction, in my opinion. It's going to be, you hear a lot of chatter about taking job. At the end of the day, AI cannot do what a builder does on site. This is about creating efficiencies in your back-end system and project management.
It's superpowering. It's we talk about putting Iron Man suits on, Tony Stark's great.
Yeah.
He's not like, you can put an Iron Man suit in his Iron Man.
Yeah.
An Iron Man suit without Tony Stark's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right. So having them both, that's the key. That's what it's just putting Iron Man suits on our builders, on their talent. It's lifting them up, taking them out of what they don't even do.
And the end product is a home. And at the end of the day, a home is always going to need a human element into the design, what it comes looking out to make sure that the client is happy with the end product.
So given that,
it's not a thing that you can take a human with.
And so given that's, and I think we've had a couple of other conversations today with people in that marketing space and around content, talking about the same thing around that move towards trust-based selling and trust content, that this is the human element. People need to know who's behind their build. They need to know who you are and how you do what you do.
Yeah.
And so this move to content. What do you think's the one thing the builders can do now, if they were going to go away next week, to prepare for what's to come? What is one thing that they could change, do, start to implement in their business that would be the biggest impact on protecting themselves? Or when I say protect, I don't even like to use that term. Embracing what's to come.
I think it's as simple as the answer is research. Being able to research exactly against your pain point is easier than ever.
What I heard the other day, knowledge I don't know is no longer an acceptable excuse, because open up ChatGPT and knowledge is cheap.
Yeah. I mean,
Ask.
to a level, yeah, because look, there's still an element of trust on the response that you're getting and the research that you're doing.
Again, it's knowledge, there's no wisdom in it.
Yeah.
There's knowledge, not wisdom.
But I can tell you from the back end, being in marketing, we've had to get savvy about the content that we're building, because your large language models like ChatGPT, like, Copilot, et cetera, they are actually bringing back the thought leadership and the actual subject matter expertise into the content that's being built, versus it just being, hey, let's overpopulate content and see what sticks. And that's how it's sourcing itself. And so at the end of the day, you're getting better quality content that's actually being more addressed to pain points. And what we're actually seeing is a more informed and more intelligent buyer by the time they hit our platform.
They know already. We had our first, someone called and go, I searched ChatGPT and your name came up. It was like the biggest win in our team. I'm like, oh, if they think we're good, we must be all right. Like, wait, wow. When did I start to really hang my hat on AI? That's right.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where there's going to be more trust placed. So I love to hear that. And look, again, I think the wisdom coming from years of experience and in this space, dealing with thousands of builders as you guys do. And what you're doing, it's, I think there's a lot to learn. Again, lot to learn, but for everybody listening, and they know me, hypotheticals are bullshit. Take something away from here and do something tomorrow. Go open up something you've never opened up. Be ready to fail. Do one of the three things on either side and start moving things forward, because it's moving forward with or without you. So hop on.
Yeah. And I mean, look, definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different outcome.
That's it.
So
Change it.
it's really easier than ever to innovate and change. You just have to take that step.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
of
jumping
course.
on and having a chat. Love having a good yarn and have a lot more, and love being a Buildxact partner, and looking forward to many more years of fun and games.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is great.